Hi, I'm Janine from Skein Sisters. So it's Wednesday today and we had our help clinic today, and one of our lovely customers came in asking for a hand to understand a certain technique that I thought you might be interested in as well. So the technique that she wanted to know was called the Ladderback Jacquard technique. Some of you may have come across it. I'd certainly heard of it but never actually seen it. So I'm going to hand over to our lovely Jane, who had the joy today of sharing her expertise around the Ladderback Jacquard technique. So Jane, tell us all about it.
Thanks, Janine. I'm not sure if I'd call me an expert, but so Ladderback Jacquard is designed when you have very long floats in colourwork. This is a very simple colourwork, and it's just my very rough sample. Look, I made a mistake, don't tell anyone. When you have long floats like this, you don't really want to float your work, your contrast colour behind sort of 10 stitches, ideally about 5 or so. So this technique lets you catch those floats in what's called a little ladder. So that's what it looks like from the back. Can you see that? So you've got these long floats here across 10 stitches, but it makes a little ladder like that on the back. So I'm going to show you one way of doing that. So just bear with me while I'm knitting. So you're just knitting your colourwork pattern as normal. So I've got 10 stitches here between my 2 columns of green. So I'm going to knit 5. And then you bring both yarns forward, and we're going to make one by lifting the bar here between the stitches. So we're going to make a right leaning purl increase. So you lift the bar like that, so the leading leg's at the back. You purl through that front leg, and you purl with the green or the contrast colour. Okay, and then you take both yarns to the back and you keep knitting. So I've already set up a ladder on my next colourwork repeat here, so just let me knit around to there. But what you can see is that little lip stitch there. So you're adding an extra stitch to the needle, okay? So that's the green one. So here it is over here. So I'm going to knit across to that one so that you can see what you do when you get to it. So when you get to it, again, you bring the yarns forward, both yarns, and you purl that stitch with the contrast colour. And then take both yarns back again, and you keep knitting. Purling the stitch means that it kind of recesses, it sits back from the rest of the stitches on your needle, so that you remember when you're knitting it that it's a ladder back stitch, not an actual pattern stitch. Can you see that, how it sort of sits in between the stitches? It doesn't make a stitch on the needle. You can knit it, but purling is easier to achieve that. So that sets up that ladder up the back. Can you see that? So you can see it on the back but not on the front. So you just keep doing that until you want to finish the ladder. So if you are no longer going to have long floats here, you're going to start knitting with the green in the middle, or you're going to start a new part of the pattern so that there's no longer the need to have a ladder. Sorry, I've just got to rearrange my yarn here. Oh, I have to go through there. There we go. So if you want to finish the ladder, okay, so I've got a long, few stitches of ladder there. It's very easy to then get rid of that stitch. So again, you knit across to it, keeping your pattern correct. And then you elevator music. When you get to that stitch and you want to get rid of it, you want to stop doing the ladder, you just knit it together with the stitch behind it. So and you knit it in the pattern colour. So if that stitch should in fact have been green, then you would knit it with the green yarn rather than the silver. So I'll just knit across a couple more and then show you the back. So when you knit together, that's what it looks like at the back. So you can see down here, that's where I've made the stitch to make the ladder, and that's where I've resolved it or gotten rid of it. And you can see the strands behind. You have to always be careful of, like with any stranded colour work, of keeping those strands nice and loose. So don't pull them tight or anything like that. Keep them loose so that you can still, they'll still be loose behind the back of your work, so they don't pucker. And then you can't see it on the front. The tension can sometimes be a bit funny where it is, but when you block it, that'll even out. So that's a very simple, quick and dirty Ladderback Jacquard introduction.
Thanks,